Dian Kurniawan.
Hadir, Bu.
Oke, Dwi Widodo. Dwi Widodo. Faisal.
Halo Bu.
Faisal
Halo.
Ramadhani.
Halo, iya. Hadir.
Tunggu di belakang.
Oke. Nur Ridwan.
Hadir, Bu.
Oke, Jalia.
Hadir Ibu.
Muhammad Rifki. Muhammad Rifki
Nggak masuk hari ini, Bu. Maaf.
belum ada ya. Oke,
Ya, nggak
Sahrosah. Sahrosah nggak ada ya. Pak Suhardi ada.
Bu.
Oke, Pak Jajang
Pak Jajang sakit katanya.
sakit terus ya perasaan.
Iya. Oh,
Gula, Bu. Gula.
Sakit kan? Terus
Diabetes.
waktu itu apa gitu. Oh, Samsudin aku. Pak Samsudin nggak ada. Pak.
Belum
saya.
bergabung
Pak Idam,
mungkin.
Sebelumnya ada. Belum masuk kali.
oh, Pak Idam Faras.
Ada Bu, present Bu.
Oke, Dewi Suryanti.
Ada Ibu. Hadir.
Rifki Hasbullah. Rifki ada? Nggak ada ya.
Belum kelihatan.
Ratu Lala.
Ada Ibu hadir.
Ada. Oke. Oke. So, what we are going to talk today? Siapa
Pak Suhardi.
dulu? Pak Suhardi. Oke, silahkan Pak Suhardi.
Back lagi ke chapter 1.
Just wait. Design it as jendela ya.
What are we going to talk?
Historical investigation.
Story.
Mundur. Jadi,
Iya, kemarin pasti lagi
oke.
cerita katanya.
Hello everybody, can you see my slides?
No. No, Pak Hardi. No.
No?
Belum
No. Belum.
belum
Lihat,
muncul,
Pak.
Pak.
Belum,
Oke. Ya,
belum lihat, Pak.
ya. Wait, just wait. Dari awal tadi belum di-share.
Belum lihat ya, iyalah belum di-share katanya Pak Hardi. Ya iyalah belum ada.
Nah, udah muncul.
Terus yang munculnya kita lagi, jadi kita ada dua.
Iya. Iya.
Mana tuh Pak Hardi?
Halo Pak.
Ya. Can you see my slides now?
No.
Masih
Not
belum,
yet.
Pak.
Belum Pak.
Oh, belum sih ya.
Kayaknya laptopnya kurang deh, Pak. Pakai ini aja. Pakai kayak saya kemarin pakai laptop pakai apa? Handphone.
Saya salah sih ya. Oke, wait. Ya.
Nggak bisa ngupload itu. Pakai handphone laptop.
respon atau
Ya, sudah ada.
Pak.
Ada.
Sudah, Pak. Sudah.
sudah ada? Oke. Cukup penuh ya, nggak bisa lihat yang lain.
Ya, udah kelihatan.
Oke. Well,
Tapi play off aja Mbak di semua.
tahu dia agak-agak aneh. Biasanya kelihatan gitu orangnya. Is it okay if you see only the slide here without?
Oke.
Yes, Pak Hadi.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Bu Om.
Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. So today's my turn to present one of the topics of advanced linguistics, which is the history of linguistics. First of all, I would like to introduce a list of keywords on my slide here that we are going to use in this session. Here they are: linguistics, linguists, neo-grammarians, structuralism, lang, parallel, American structuralism, European structuralism, behaviorism, descriptive grammar, and generative grammar. Linguistics is scientific study of language, and then the linguist is person or scientist who study the language. Neo-grammarian is a group of linguists or English school having contribution to the development of linguistics, and then they have a very great contribution, especially in the 19th century, which is changed from Old English to modern English. Structuralism is something like concept related to linguistics that become guidance during 20th century in Europe and America. With some differences. Lang and parallel is
Lange.
yes, longer.
Lange.
Lang.
Lange and parole is a part of structuralism because the first is social idea and it was in French.
Oh.
So they keep the words in French.
Okay.
Lange and parole.
Oh, this is not English ya Bu ya? This is
No.
Okay.
French. Okay.
Lang and parallel is this is two terminologies which is introduced by Ferdinand de Saussure related to
Saussure.
production. Yes,
Saussure.
Saussure. Ferdinand
Ferdinand de Saussure.
Ferdinand de Saussure related to speech production. And then the next is behaviorism. Is actually this is the name of school of psychology introduced by another prominent linguist, Leonard Bloomfield. Next, now what is descriptive? What is descriptive grammar? Descriptive grammar is grammar that describes how language is used by its speaker. Generative grammar is a grammar that focuses on scientific explanation other than wait, I repeat one more time. Generative grammar is grammar that focuses on scientific explanation instead of describing instead of describing explanation. Yeah. Well, hopefully the next slide will give you more. What is it? You will get more clear explanations about all these keywords. Let's see the general overview of linguistics. Yeah. Number one, I have already explained it. Linguistics is the scientific study of language, and then the language. Yeah. When we study human language, we are approaching what some might call human essence. is the distinctive qualities of mind that are, so far as we know, unique to man, according to Noam Chomsky.
Noam
The character of language itself
Noam
is
Chomsky, Pak.
yes,
Noam
No.
Chomsky.
Noam Chomsky. The character of language is arbitrary, creative, and learned. Now, what is the arbitrary here? Arbitrary mean changeable, so always change all the time. Yeah, and then the character
What is called in bahasa, Pak?
changeable, selalu berubah-ubah, something like that. Is that
Or
correct?
manasuka.
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 Ah,
Ya,
okay.
jadi suka-suka dia akan berubah.
Iya.
It's not
Okay.
only changeable, tapi di situ ada sense of suka-suka, mana suka, tergantung dari penuturnya.
Oke, thank you Ibu. Ya, suka-suka berubah sendiri ya. So,
Mana suka.
mana suka.
Ya,
Yeah,
itu
so-
istilah dalam linguistik, Pak.
Yeah, yeah. Alright, and then the character of language is also creative. Creative here means is different kind of language has different kind of structure. For example, yeah. Example, the structure of sentences different from one language to another. Example, English. Yeah, we know that structure of sentence of English is subject, a verb, and then followed by object. That's very general, very common. And then the structure sentence of Arabic, yeah, as far as I know that it is a little bit different. Sometimes there is no subject because the subject is implied. That's different with the structure sentence of English. Indonesian, you know that, right? Yeah. What is the structure of the sentence in Indonesian? Yeah. Okay. And the next is we will not discuss this terminologies, philology and philologies. Next slide. Yeah. When we talk about the history of linguistics, so we will not leave these two most prominent linguists in historical linguistics. They are Ferdinand de Saussure and Leonard Bloomfield. Then what are their contributions? Let's see the next slide. Let's start with the history of linguistics. Abstract structuralism actually is this. The original is the name of book. Yeah, this book was judged as the revolutions of language. The principles of linguistics which proposed by Ferdinand de Saussure suggest that new method of language research, and it is different from historical approach which he used before his view appeared. De Saussure is one of the most influenced figures in linguistics. His view of linguistics considered as new because of its difference with linguistics. Example, historical linguistics. That's different. It is considered. It is consisted of the study of phonology, principle, structural, and historical linguistics. That's still the continuation, and then the next is about Leonard Bloomfield, another linguist who has a great contribution also in the study of linguistics. Bloomfield was American linguist who led the development of structural linguistics in the U.S. during 1930 until 1940. Yeah, he's considered as the father of American distributionalism. He made a significant contribution to Indo-European historical linguistics, the description of Austronesian languages, and descriptions of language of the Algonquian family.
Algonquian.
Algonquian family. Yeah, this is the period of historical language. Yeah. In the started in 19th century, that the era of neo-grammarian, and then the 20th century, the first half, that's the era of structuralism, and then the 20th century, the second half, is the era of generative grammar. Let's see one by one. Neo-grammarians. In the mid of 19th century, the study of language has made a great stride, especially in the field of phonetics, which is sound laws operated without exception. Grammarians adopted this idea made many important contributions to the fledgling science of linguistics by applying it to new and more complicated data. The term neo-grammarian was first applied to the, I don't know, is it in German? Leipzig. Yeah, the Leipzig school by the German philologist F. Zanke, Ibu. Is it?
Jamke. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the term attends wide currently among linguists. The neo-grammarian greatly contributed to the development of comparative historical development. Example, the changes from Old English to Modern English. That's the biggest contribution of the era of neo-grammarians. And in the 19th century also saw major advances in the classifications of language. German scholar August Spitzer developed classification for the Indo-European languages in the form of genealogical tree. Also Asiatic, which consists of Arab and Hebrew.
Afro-Asiatic.
Yeah. Baltic consists of Japanese and Korean, and Uralic, Finnish and Korean.
Finland, from Finland.
Yeah. And then Indo-European itself consists of French, English, Portuguese, and Spanish. Now the era of structuralism. Yeah, structuralism is heterogeneous school of linguistics. So this is actually the name of school also. Heterogeneous school of linguistics, which was developed in Europe and America in the first half of the 20th century. Again, this is the two prominent structuralist language, Ferdinand de Saussure in European.
Saussure.
Ferdinand de Saussure.
Saussure.
The Ferdinand de Saussure in European structuralism, and Leonard Bloomfield in American structuralism. Yeah. Now, what are the Saussure contributions?
Oh, sure, Pak. Gampang kok. So, AU itu dibaca O.
Saussure.
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 Ya, gampang. Saussure.
Okay.
Saussure.
Yeah.
Saussure contribution.
Yeah. This is the contribution of Saussure. Number one, introduce a new technical term such as synchronic and diachronic. Synchronic linguistics refers to the study at a specific time. It studied, for example, the sentence structure of definite time, such as in modern or old English. Diachronic language is the study of language changes. The study of language changes from one period to another. It shows the development of language in terms of pattern and sentence structure. Saussure distinguished linguistic between langue and parole. Now, that's the definition of langue. Socially shared system that makes production and comprehension possible. Parole is actual speech production. Apart from language, there are some other things that are involved in parole, like the speaker's will, mood, tone, etc. Yeah, we must differ between la langue
La langue,
as individual language and la parole as
la parole,
as the individual act of communication. Yes, so this is the langue is language system and parole is language behavior. That's the difference between these two terminologies.
Yeah, you have to know very well about Saussure contribution because Saussure here is the father of modern linguistics. So his idea here, you have to understand all of this, yeah.
Okay.
Not only Pak Hardy, but for all of you.
Again. Yeah, still the contribution of Saussure, he found semiology. That's the study of sign, especially semiotics, such as sign, emojis, logos, emoticons used in electronic communication. Yeah, especially nowadays. Yeah, all of us use emoticon when we communicate through WhatsApp, for example. That's his.
But in the Saussure era, we don't use yet that all the emojis.
Okay. Yeah. Now look at here. What is the difference between signs, the signifier, and then signified, which are introduced by Saussure? Look at. That's the object, apple. That's we call sign. And then signifier, the physical existence, like sound. When we hear sound, and then we produce a word, and then we look at image, that signifier. And then what is signified? Signified is the mental concept. Example, when we talk about apple, and then we think about freshness, we talk about healthy, we talk about temptation, that's the signified. Yeah, these terminologies are introduced by Saussure also. Now, the American structuralism, which is introduced by Leonard Bloomfield. Let's start with behavior and science. What is behavior? Behaviorism. Behaviorism is a school of psychology. Again, so behaviorism actually is the name of school. Yeah, school of psychology. According to this school, science can only deal with physical fact. A statement must be based on these physical characteristics. Thus, science must observe, describe physical fact, and induce descriptive generalization. Language. When language happens when there is a stimulus and response. Yeah? Stimulus is something like external factor that come from for example, when we listen to something, the sound we pass through our ears, that means stimulus. Yeah? And then when we listen to someone speak or produce word, that's also stimulus. Now, when a stimulus happens, and then usually we will respond. Yeah, and when there is stimulus, and then when there is a response, there will be a language. Human behavior is studied in terms of stimulus and response. Consequently, linguistic behavior becomes also pattern of stimulus and response, where language plays as a mediating role. So the language here play as mediator. The method and limitation. behaviorist linguists start their studies by recording speech, and these samples will become the only basis for the study of language in the form of speech corpus. Speech will be divided into sound segments, and they will observe this segment in their linguistic context. Finally, they will classify those segments according to their distribution. However, this method made the study of the meaning very complex, and then probably, it has become the limitation of behaviorists. And this still continuation of the contribution of L. Bloomfield. The major influence of Bloomfield in language development is the shape of linguistics from the historical and comparative study of language to the description of the structure of the language in 20th century. His influential textbook Language, published in 1933, presented comprehensive description of American structural linguistics. Now, so next we are going to talk about structuralism, descriptive grammar, and generative grammar. There are two main differences: structuralism by Saussure and Bloomfield, and generative grammar by Chomsky in the study of language. Let's start first with the European structuralism. The method that science should follow is called descriptive grammar. Yeah, it is on observation. Now, what is descriptive grammar? Descriptive grammar is grammar that describes how language is used by its speaker. Example, I am older than her. The explanation here, look at subject pronoun such as he, she, it, I, you, they, we are paired with a verb. Yeah? Here, I paired with am. Am is function as a linking verb. While object pronouns such as him, her, it, me, you, them, us are not. Yeah? Because after object pronoun, of course, there is no following word. Since the phrase then her doesn't have a verb, we can see or hear that some speakers choose an object pronoun in the context. European structuralism are concerned with the function of language, example, communication. This is continuation. According to Saussure, language is social institution to communicate, considering language as conduct to communicate. It is not possible to explain the problem of language acquisition. Next, what is generative grammar? Generative grammar primarily concerned with the knowledge of language and with the way it is represented in the mind. This involves presenting native speaker with a series of sentences and having them decide whether the sentences are grammatically acceptable or not. Yeah, look at the example of generative grammar. The man is happy. Happy man is the. Yeah, that's the example of generative grammar. Generative grammar's main objective is the scientific explanation rather than only descriptions of the complex grammar relations that confirm language and the problem of language acquisition. Yeah, I think that's all. The short history of linguistics. Hopefully you can add, or Ibu or Om. Thank you.
It's not short, it's long. It's quite long.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Is there any question or still confusing? Okay, Pak Hardik, can I please add some information for you all?
Yeah, sure.
Can I share
Yes.
my topic here? Thank you. I just want to share to all of you the little bit about the explanation about the historical linguistics. Just added what Pak Hardi just now have explained. So historical linguistics is concerned with both the description and explanation of language change. Okay, it means historical linguistics studies how language change from one period to another period. It can be from the structure, the lexical, and the social culture. The study of how languages change and how languages are related to one another. So, Pak Hardi has explained also about the philology or the branch of linguistics concerned with the development of language over the time. Where linguistics usually look at one language at a time, philology looks at them all. The case of Latin and Greek, just like Indo-European, and for example, jendela, verboden. So all these words and now become in Bahasa Indonesia words. Okay. So we talk also here about the 300 years ago, when Europeans traveled to India, they found that Sanskrit is the ancient literary language of India, was similar to Greek, Latin, and other languages of Europe. That's the fact. Okay, and then in the late 18th century, it was first correctly theorized that Sanskrit and the languages of Europe had all come from the same language, but that language was now longer living. Okay, the primary tools of historical linguistics is the comparative method, a way of identifying relation among languages that lack written records. For this reason, historical linguistics is sometimes called comparative historical linguistics. This field of study has been around for centuries. This was the beginning of the Indo-European. Since then, many languages from all over the world have been studied, and we are starting to get a good idea of how all the world's languages may be related. It's about knowing where the language has been and how languages change, and then filling in the blanks. Okay, so that's the history of linguistics. So we learn about how language change. Okay, so the study of linguistics also we call it comparative historical linguistics. That's the history of linguistics, or we call it as well the story or the ancient linguistics. So now, as Pak Hardi has explained earlier about socio, we call it modern linguist, or the father of modern linguists. Why? Because it's contrary with the comparative linguistic, as I told you just now. Okay, it's quite different. So Saussure is modern linguist, and his idea about the concept of langue and parole. Okay, that's what we call because Saussure origin from Swiss, and it was in French that he wrote his book. Okay, So the first is the concept of langue and parole. The second is the concept of syntagmatic and paradigmatic. And then the third about the concept of synchrony and diachrony. And then the last is the concept of signifiant, signifié, or as we call in English, signified and signified.
Signified, yeah.
The first with ER and the second with ED. Okay. In French, we call it signifiant and signifié. Okay. So you see the difference between comparative linguistics, as we call it the ancient or old linguistics, and the modern linguistics told by socio. Okay, is it clear for the historical between the ancient and the modern? So, do you have any question about the history of linguistics? Bapak Ibu, ini sangat beda sekali karena ketika komparatif linguistik tadi kita berbicara hanya sejarah, dulu itu penelitian linguistik itu karena bahasa itu banyak sekali dan hampir sama waktu itu Indo-European ya, kalau berdasarkan paparan Pak Hardi tadi. Nah, mereka itu hanya membahas kajian linguistik saat itu hanya membahas asal-usul kata, morfologi, kemudian fonologi, bagaimana bunyinya. Karena mereka rata-rata berasal dari bahasa sumber yang sama, itu bahasa Latin, bahasa Greek, bahasa Yunani. Yang sekarang mungkin penuturnya sudah tidak ada, ya. Tapi mereka juga mensinyalir bahwa bahasa di India juga sama sebetulnya satu rumpun dengan bahasa-bahasa di Yunani tadi, di Eropa maksudnya. Ya, itu yang mereka pelajari pada waktu linguistik sebelum sosio. Sosio itu 1917. Bapak Ibu bisa baca bukunya pengantar linguistik, kalau nggak salah sudah ada terbit dalam bahasa Indonesia. Dia aslinya dari bahasa Prancis, tapi sudah diterjemahkan dalam bahasa Indonesia, pengantar linguistik. Nah, itu dia menceritakan tentang langue. Konsepnya itu ada 4 di sosio ini. Jadi dia tidak lagi berbicara tentang sejarah kata, pembentukan kata dan sebagainya. Kenapa dia disebut modern? Karena dia mengungkapkan ide-ide lain dan berhubungan dengan bahasa itu dengan masyarakatnya, bahasa sebagai sebuah sistem tanda, ya. Nah, konsep pokoknya itu adalah langue parole. Langue parole itu adalah konsep tentang hakikat bahasa sebagai suatu gejala sosial. Jadi bahasa bukan sekedar terdiri dari sistem ini itu kata, subjek, objek dan sebagainya, tapi bahasa itu sebagai suatu gejala sosial, ya. Di situ Saussure menjelaskan bahwa bahasa dipandang sebagai bagian dari kehidupan bermasyarakat, ya. Jadi bahasa itu tidak berdiri sendiri, tapi dia kehidupan bermasyarakat, sehingga pada dasarnya berfungsi, bahasa itu akan berfungsi sesuai atas dasar perjanjian atau perjanjian sosial maksudnya, atau konvensi. Jadi misalnya ketika kita misalnya di Indonesia bilang pusing itu sakit kepala, di Malaysia pusing itu mutar-mutar jalan-jalan. Nah, itu konvensi mereka berpusing-pusing. Kita pusing sakit kepala, mereka tidak. Pusing itu berputar-putar, mereka maksudnya sama-sama berputar, tapi maksud mereka jalan-jalan. Ya, jadi itu yang dimaksud bahwa bahasa itu sebagai bagian dari kehidupan bermasyarakat dan berfungsinya bahasa itu atas dasar perjanjian sosial atau konvensi masyarakat. Di Indonesia kata pusing aja begitu, di Malaysia lain lagi. Ya, kemungkinan dalam bahasa Inggris juga banyak, misalnya di British, UK, di English UK dengan American berbeda juga sesuai dengan konvensi mereka. Misalnya ketika Anda mencari French fries di Amerika, di Inggris itu adalah, ada yang tahu di Inggris apa?
Nggak tahu.
Oh, nggak tahu. Orang belum pernah ke Inggris. Fries saja atau with, ya. Jadi berbeda dia. untuk acuan yang sama. Karena sesuai dengan konvensi masyarakat budaya masyarakat itu. Ya, jelas ya, itu bahasa. Nah, kemudian dalam kehidupan bermasyarakat biasanya kehidupan berbahasa masyarakat juga dipedomani oleh seperangkat prinsip yang disepakati bersama. Jadi seperti prinsip-prinsip tadi, kalau dalam bahasa Indonesia saya makan kue misalnya, kalau saya sudah makan kue tinggal ditambahkan saya sudah makan untuk past tense. Tapi in English Anda kalimatnya harus berubah untuk past tense itu. Nah, itu yang menunjukkan adanya konvensi, adanya aturan yang disepakati gitu. Jadi kalau kita cukup menambahkan kata keterangan sudah, akan, dan sebagainya, kalau mereka berubah strukturnya, ya, itu. Nah, kemudian kesepakatan aturan itu yang disebut oleh Saussure itu langue. Jadi langue itu adalah prinsip-prinsip atau prinsip yang disepakati bersama. Sedangkan Parole itu adalah perwujudan dari prinsip-prinsip itu. Jadi langue itu adalah prinsip-prinsip kebahasaan dan Parole itu adalah perwujudannya. Jadi misalnya sebetulnya analoginya gampang saja sih. Bapak Ibu tahu permainan catur kan? Nah, catur itu kan ada raja ada aturannya, ratu, kemudian kuda dan sebagainya gitu. Nah, permainan catur itu kita bisa analogikan sebagai langue, ya, karena permainan catur itu kan ada aturan-aturannya. Demikian juga bahasa ya, ada aturan-aturannya. Jadi langue itu adalah aturan-aturan secara umum. Nah, misalnya si raja, aturan-aturannya itu disepakati oleh bersama. Nah, kemudian sekarang Parole-nya mana? Misalnya Parole-nya itu kuda. Nah, kuda tuh kalau jalan arahnya harus bentuk L katanya gitu ya. Kalau kuda itu jalan, kuda dalam catur maksudnya, bukan kuda yang ditunggangi. Kuda dalam catur itu kalau jalan dia bentuknya L. Kemudian kalau raja boleh ke segala arah, gitu ya, kecuali diagonal, gitu ya. Ratu juga boleh ke segala arah kecuali diagonal. Nah, aturan-aturan itu yang disebut langue. Sedangkan cara jalannya L ataukah dia kemana-mana itu adalah Parole. Jelas Bapak Ibu?
Oh iya.
Misalnya Bapak Ibu misalnya bahasa Inggris di Australia dengan di Amerika, di Inggris atau di British ya, good day. Misalnya good day. Nah, itu juga udah termasuk Parole in English. Jadi sebetulnya pengucapannya itu terserah, mereka di sana disepakati bersama. Sehingga seringkali orang Australia itu agak-agak diejek juga ya ketika berbahasa Inggris, apalagi oleh orang British misalnya. Atau bahkan British juga seringkali diejek di American misalnya ketika bloody hell. Mereka begitu ya ininya sisipan yang seringkali mereka ucapkan. Nah, itu ada konsep langue and Parole. Kemudian Saussure juga mengemukakan konsep mengenai sintagmatik paradigmatik, ya. Jadi ada sebentar Bapak Ibu, nanti ada yang membahas strukturalisme nggak?
Berikutnya ada nggak? Saya agak lupa Bu.
Coba dilihat Pak Hardi, ada yang membahas strukturalisme nggak?
Bukan.
Ada chapter 12 kalau nggak salah agak akhir gitu.
Chapter 12 ya?
Oke. Kalau begitu,
Strukturalisme ya.
ya kalau begitu nanti dia dibahas di sana ya. Jadi konsep-konsep itu karena apa? Sebagai perkembangan dalam ilmu bahasa linguistik itu harus Anda ketahui. Kita yang belajar ilmu bahasa harus mengetahui itu semua, begitu maksudnya. Ya jelas Bapak Ibu ya, kalau yang dulu historical linguistik itu berangkatnya dia dari sejarah karena bahasa-bahasa itu sama, kemudian dia belajar dari bagaimana pembentukan kata, bagaimana perubahan bahasa dari satu masa ke masa lain. Setelah ada sosiok, dia berubah lagi penelitiannya. Oke, silakan. If you have any question, atau sudah cukup ngantuk kekenyangan tadi buka? Sudah kenyang ya? Payah memang kalau
Belum kenyang malah, Bu.
Kenapa?
Kenyang.
Kenapa
malah.
payah?
Belum
Kenapa?
kenyang.
Belum.
Kasihan amat.
Belum kenyang.
Tadi kuliah mulai 6:30 ya?
Jam 1.
Iya Bu, 6:30 Bu.
Bukan yang barusan, yang
Iya,
jam
Bu.
ini.
Baru makan setengah
Iya,
piring.
habis maghrib.
Ya. Kalau saya tadi saya mundurin mahasiswanya, kesian kelaparan. Jadi saya bilang yang jam ke-5 ya. Jam ke-5 itu tadi saya bikin jam 7. Jadi mereka udah kenyang. Tapi konsekuensinya pada begini semua. Karena kekenyangan. Barusan Anda kuliah apa?
Psikolinguistik, Bu.
Psikolinguistik.
Linguistik.
Oh, dengan siapa?
Bu
Sapitri Purnama.
Siapa?
Fitri.
Savitri.
Sampur.
Oke.
Hampir sama juga beberapa ini.
Ya, karena semua bagian dari linguistik ya. Advanced linguistik, psycholinguistik itu bagian dari linguistik tentu saja. Jelas Bapak Ibu, do you have any question? Atau mau segera tidur? Pak Idam udah 5 watt matanya, walaupun kelaparan, masih belum kenyang. Belum kenyang katanya. Any question? Is it clear? Jangan lupa Bapak Ibu 2 minggu lagi kalau nggak salah UTS.
Cepet ya.
Tapi gampang. Dapat.
Amin.
3 minggu lagi juga Lebaran. Tapi ya UTS dulu, baru Lebaran. Oke, Bapak Ibu, is there any question? Kalau tidak ada, kita tutup aja. Kasihan yang masih kelaparan, silahkan makan. Sudah ada?
Nggak ada.
Oke, saya kira sudah cukup jelas ya, Pak Hardi, for the presentation. Thank you. Yang lain, thank you for your participation. Maybe we continue next week. Yeah, next week we have another topic to discuss. Okay. Thank you very much for your attention. We see each other inshallah next week. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam.
wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.